So now we're at the bonus section. And at the bonus section, I'm going to show you how I take out South Dakota. Now I've moved 40 infantry here to land here right when day change happens. When day change happens, I will get more health and I won't lose health as I cross the border. Same for this army group down here. The one on the top, I'm going to call Army Group A. The one on the bottom, I'm going to call Army Group B. All I did was click them both, control click, hit the delay button, and then set my time. This is when day change will happen, roughly. Now, I've gone to the stock market and I bought a bunch of wood because it was much cheaper than this. It was almost 3 or 4 per wood, which is a great number. Just like I talked before, iron ore is more expensive than lumber most times. Grain is more expensive than fish. You can see the difference here, 13.6, 5.4. And then energy, once it becomes more needed, will show oil as the dominant one. And coal, not so much. Now I bought a bunch of lumber because it was cheap, but it also lets me divert more resources to iron ore. Now I've changed it here. You could see how I could buy the cheaper one, use it as my daily consumption, and still win out by just producing more iron ore. Now, let's talk about South Dakota and why my previous assumptions yesterday were right. So here, let's start with our first human player, Russia Tomorrow. You can see Russia Tomorrow has built so many buildings. Russia Tomorrow is not at war with any countries. So Russia Tomorrow could be a threat. But I'm gambling here. I'm betting they won't show up and attack me here. The rest of the countries besides South Dakota is an AI. Now let's talk about South Dakota. So South Dakota still has not built a single building, which is great. But since I've already established that South Dakota is a wild card, he's attacked this other human player who's also not doing anything. You can see here the smoke rising, and you can see the color change. He's taken these 2 provinces. Now you may be saying, okay, you start with 100 infantry. He hasn't built any recruitment offices, so he's not having any more infantry to be produced. What is his numbers right now? Well, let's look at them. Here, you can see he's at war with one country. I'm going to click at war with Nebraska. We knew that. Here we could see his average morale went down because he took a new province. Let's look at that really quickly. You could see here that the morale bar has dropped from 70% to 25%. When you take a new province, it'll drop down to 25%. You can also see that he has the green arrow or the green exclamation point. Now going back to South Dakota's profile, we could see his kill ratio. So you could see here, for every 1 unit he lost, the D, he's killed 1.19 units. So he's killed 25 of Nebraska's army. So Nebraska now has 75 units. And he has lost 21. So now I know that he has 79 units. So now I know that he's losing men. I feel more confident about invading him. I'm worried that maybe Montana might take advantage of that. But I would really want to take this province and start fortifying it as soon as possible. My forces are landing at the border. I've seen no movement from South Dakota. South Dakota has taken another province from Nebraska. And now it's go time. So what is go time? Go time is me attacking. Here you could see Army Group B moving through this province. See the road? Moving to that province and moving to the capital. It says they'll be there in about 23 hours. They'll get there a little quicker when I take the province because my movement speed will change. Here with movement speed, you could see their movement is 36. If I scroll down to the infantry tab, you can see friendly and enemy territory. So their movement speed is going to drastically change. But when I retake the province, it'll go back to 36. So don't always trust this number, but it's a good guide. Now I'm trying to get to their capital before day change, so I don't need to leave any soldiers here in case there's a revolt. As we progress, I will take one unit and move it to Wakanda. Army Group A. Now they're going here. I'm going to move them up to take out that 10 infantry. It's always good just to kill them while they're separated and then move there. Now look at that. I have in Army Group B 97.7 attack versus the 34.9. Their health points is around 130. Mine's around 680. And that's how you do an attack in this game. And if more people did that, you could get so much further and everyone would be happy. Now, what's also interesting is the double resource provinces, Wheaton Valley and Bemidji, already recruited the first infantry unit. You can see I have 6 here now. I'm going to move one of them over here. And this one, I guess I'll just move him right here. By the time he gets here, it'll still be, I'll have taken it before the capital's taken. And that works out perfectly. And then these guys will be destroyed. Now in my first fight against a human player, I don't officially declare war. Because as I showed before, and I'll show you now, they're considered friendly territory as I'm walking through them. I'm going to get there a lot quicker if I don't declare war. I'll start losing and getting at negative 65% movement speed. So in the beginning, I'll be more tricky. This affects my popularity because it's a surprise attack. If you want to invade someone, like pretend I want to take over this northern Wisconsin area, before I started, I would go to diplomacy, show them in diplomacy. Here's North Wisconsin diplomacy. I would hit embargo. And the more days that I've embargoed them, and with the fact that once I start a war, I hit the declare war button, my popularity won't be hit. Here, their popularity is 90%. That's really great. I've had it sometimes where I've only lost a few points compared to 15% with a surprise attack or more. You can see I've lost 2 units here. You can see South Dakota has lost 6 units. And that's because I attacked with a greater force. You can see now that he is responding. And I don't really know what this wild card South Dakota has in mind. So what I've done is I've told my Army Group B to march right here. I'll be back in the morning. If they all stack right here, guess what? Army Group A is going to come around. The goal here is if he does consolidate his forces, that I'm not the one who initiates the attack. I need to be defending. Here we are at the next day. You can see it was very smart of me to delay the attack. Sitting here is not too bad. Meanwhile, my other army is moving into the capital. I'll again be cautious and move right before the capital before attacking. If he moves his army here, I move my army there. Day 2 is already passed and you can see him building a harbor. My armored car has been built, and my balloon has been built. I'll build one more of each, and then I'll stop. So I've taken the capital. I took it in time before day change. And you could see I didn't have to station anyone here. The morale's above 25%. So I don't have to worry about rebellions. The shock of my invasion made this human player run away, give up. He did spend gold, and now I don't spend gold. I don't care if you spend gold. It's your money. I don't need to spend my money to win this game. But he spent gold on a fortress. And he positioned his troops here. He didn't even click right on a couple of them. But I'm just going to sit here and let him kind of just peter away. You could see his morale is lower. His morale is going to keep trending to the province that he's in. So I have to worry about that. But my goal is just to get back to my main provinces that have high morale. And their morale actually went up because I took that capital. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to just double click an infantry. Everyone who's in line of sight will go right here. Now this armored car will move around and assist this group because they're guarding the double resources here, and I want these double resources too. I don't really care about single province resources unless they're strategically available. And so that is it. That is everything here. I could show you how an AI will react, but you could see here with Army Group A, 105 defense. His army, if he attacks, 87.8. If this 57 group attacks my 40, I'll win. And I'm building, since I've built recruiting offices here, I'm going to start getting more infantry. So it's going to work out. Taking all of this so early in the game is going to get me ahead. So lastly, let's talk about the future. So I make videos fighting human players as teams, solo, anything that's interesting, because this is not an interesting fight. But so many people can't even do this. But what is interesting is what could be happening in the future. So not tomorrow, but Russia tomorrow has joined a coalition, the True North, with West Ontario, the Scotch, and Death and Saskatchewan. So these three are in a coalition together. And that's why I'm building forts along my border. I've already built level 1 forts. I'm going to keep an eye on them. Manitoba is taking out Winnipeg slowly, but it's happening. Russia tomorrow hasn't moved, but I have a balloon and I can see their movements. Here's Manitoba sitting at their capital. Here's Manitoba. Here's West Ontario, Russia tomorrow, West Ontario. No movements over here because this balloon is giving me line of sight. That's why you want balloons. That's it. If this was interesting, watch more of my videos, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. So now anyone who's gotten past this point is officially a Squid Boy. Congratulations, you've graduated Squid University. I will send your cap and gown in the mail. Please don't give me your mailing address. And I'll talk to you Squid Boys later. Bye.
A unique and lesser-known aspect of World War I, the involvement of squids in the trenches. These amazing creatures disrupted the monotony of trench warfare, distracting soldiers and providing occasional amusement amidst the horrors of battle.
Squid.